I got one night in you, yeah. Tell me why you wanting this, all you. Never really been the one to set the mood. But the candle's burning, baby, we gon' let it burn slow. Got lights, cameras in this bitch, so baby, let's go. You got one chance to get it, show me why you made her. These groupie girls tryna get me caught up fornicating. Falling for me cause they all probably think I'm famous. Just so they can say that they almost had my baby, let's go. And I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? Yeah. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? Groupie love, cause I never fall in love for real. Baby, show me what you want. Baby, tell me how you feel. You want it for yourself. I don't even blame you, cause the way you do it right back to me got me going crazy. Yeah, yeah, no tripping, unless I'm flying to you. New York City women look like nothing when you here, yeah. You love my sound, say I always sing amazing. Baby, tell me when you're down, you know that I'll be there. Let's go. And I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? Yeah. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? Send me those pics that you don't put up on the gram. Look like a goddess, oh my lord, oh my oh man. Send me those pics that you don't put up on the gram. Look like a goddess, oh my lord, oh my oh man. Yeah, yeah, and I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? I'm like, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? Yeah. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? Send me those pics that you don't put up on the gram. Look like a goddess, oh my lord, oh my oh man. Send me those pics that you don't put up on the gram. Look like a goddess, oh my lord, oh my oh man. Yeah, yeah, and I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? And I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? Yo, 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 yo.
What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Crazy day in the stock market. One of the most volatile days we've ever had. Literally a 25% swing within the day. We went down 6%, then recovered the whole downside, went up 8%, and then now came back down to kind of a median point. Absolute madness. Going to talk about kind of my longer term views. I've been very, very vocal over the last 2 months on I was selling, where I'm looking to buy, why I'm looking to buy, and when I'm looking to buy. Frankly, I don't know if this correction is over. Personally, I'd love for us to go lower. I bought like 20% of what I wanted to buy today. I still think we go a little bit lower. Personally, I'd love to see a 4,600 S&P 500, go all the way down, or maybe even retest all-time highs again. That's quite literally where we ended up. We ended up bouncing right off prior all-time highs there. Excellent stuff. But today, guys, I am going to do what I did with Bitcoin back in, when was that? January 2023. For those of you who don't know, during this whole range, I was very bullish. Bullish for a bunch of different reasons. Ended up selling all of my accumulated Bitcoin at 97K. Not really looking to buy Bitcoin long term at the moment. I just, look, the way that things have been playing out, the amount that Bitcoin's up, I still think we're going lower. I think crypto's toast for a little while. It's very clear that altcoins are not very strong. However, the S&P 500 going down 20 to 25% is like Bitcoin going down 80%. That is an excellent buying opportunity. If Bitcoin was down in the 40 to 50K area right now, I'd be buying Bitcoin. But the S&P 500 is where I believe that opportunity lies. And I'm going to spend a little while today using the VIX. I think there's a lot to learn on this chart. I think that a lot of people are panicking for, I don't know why people are panicking. I think it's kind of stupid. I think if you have extra capital right now, you're in a great place. We're just going to keep this simple and do this. I'm going to load up the S&P 500 with the VIX and really show, a lot of these different opportunities that we've had over the last, like 20, 30 years. So I'm going to put these white lines in here just to kind of show. I don't know where this VIX will eventually end up, but I want you guys to notice a couple things. The VIX is the volatility index. Generally, when you have high volatility, it's due to a sell-off, just like we've seen over the last couple weeks. When you have, obviously, like 2008, lots of volatility, big sell-off in the S&P 500. When you have COVID, right, big sell-off in the S&P 500. And again, a lot of the reason for that is people panic, drive that volatility higher. Maybe they think they can buy lower. Maybe they think that, short-term things are doomed and they'd rather flip short. I don't know. People still stuck in the alt season cope crypto market capitulation soon. I hope so. I hope a lot of the altcoin space gets wiped. In my opinion, I think stocks will do really well for the next couple of years. I don't think crypto is going to do as well. Maybe Bitcoin, but I don't think the rest of the altcoin space is going to do very well. And for me, the risk reward to buying Bitcoin right now, it's there's not enough reward for how much risk there is. So let's go through this. Why is the 40 level on the VIX important, and what does it mean? Guys, whenever we hit 40, it's been an excellent opportunity to buy. Almost every single, actually literally every single time we hit 40, it is an excellent opportunity to buy. I have a lot of these marked here. This is the last, last almost 20 years of S&P 500 history. 2008, we get above the 40 point on the VIX. We're at about 900. We ended up dropping all the way down to 670. A little bit more of a correction. I think it's about a 20% correction. But buying this whole zone paid off tenfold. It was literally the market bottom. Fast forward, we have, 2010. VIX gets above, 40 again. Ends up taking us from 1,000. The bottom was 1,017, 1,018-ish. Ended up being another market bottom. 2011. I know 2015 was like the little mini recession we had. 2011, same thing, bottom. 2015, almost a bottom. We ended up going a little bit lower, but either way, guys, you're not always going to nail the bottom. The point is, there aren't many opportunities. where this presents itself. And if you're someone who's been trying to buy stuff, or look, maybe you're like me and you sold a bunch of your crypto and you're looking to rotate that money into something else, bam, what just happened? The S&P 500. I'm going to try and I'll do this so it's a little clearer. The S&P 500 broke down, what is this, 20%? This is from 6,100 all the way down to 5,000. Yeah, about 20%. 20% downside. What's the VIX doing? It's back above 40, right? Which makes it the guy who streamed with right about saying he believes in 70% plus Bitcoin. Yeah, I didn't really believe it at first, but after seeing and really noticing all the scams, I think alts are done. I think the altcoin space needs a complete wipe. Just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong, but I think alts are toast. I think there's too many of them. There's too many scams. There's too much crap. It needs to be cleaned up. There's over 20 million altcoins, guys. They need to go away. But anyways, VIX, I like everything I'm seeing here. And my point today, and really the stream title is buy, buy, buy. Right? I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I should buy Bitcoin. No. This is what you should be buying. You should be buying SPY or QQQ, right? SPY is for the S&P 500. Triple Q is for the NASDAQ, right? Let's throw up all of these real quick. Or I'll just do the NASDAQ and the S&P. We don't need to see the Dow Jones. I mean, look, they've pretty much follow in tandem with each other, right? You're seeing that same result. Literally the exact same result. Just one happens to be a little bit more volatile. I mean, this is an excellent opportunity to dump money into, at least in my opinion, to dump money into stocks that are down 20 to 25%. Guys, you buy red and you sell, like literally buy red, sell green. When you have big days like this, like if a black swan event like COVID ever occurs, that's when you take any spare capital you have and you buy stocks, right? I would argue, with COVID, you could have bought Bitcoin. My problem here with buying Bitcoin right now is Bitcoin is not corrected nearly as much as I think it will. Right? Obviously, COVID, Bitcoin corrected 60%. That was an excellent opportunity to buy. For me right now, Bitcoin's only down about 25%, I believe. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe in the 30s. But that's not enough for me. Right? Buying, DCAing here over the last 2 years, and then selling somewhere up here. I need to see more downside, or at least more sideways, one of the two. Plus, I don't like how we're not in a risk-on environment, so not really looking at Bitcoin for long term. But stocks, it's great. Here I am coming to you again saying this is an excellent time to buy. Take advantage if you have cash. Buy stocks. I am telling you. You only get so many of these in your lifetime, right? We've seen since 2008, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th, maybe 8th time we've had this. 9th, maybe. We were close here. Very close there. 8 opportunities in the last almost 20 years to take advantage of very large dips that generally play out, right? Very well. So that's my stock market spiel. Let's look at the rest of the market. I want to go over everything, I guess, today. I'll just leave it as blue for now. We get the maybe I'll change it. Yeah, I'll change it back. Be a little bit easier. All right. So, big dump last week into a very volatile, wild candle today. What is it being led by? Tariffs. Tariffs, global macro change. I think a lot of people are... I think also the stock market's been propped up quite significantly. Excuse me. But a lot of this is tariff driven, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of the world realizing that kind of air has been holding up the U.S. stock market, in my opinion, for the last couple of years. I also think that with uncertainty, jobs could be on the line. Cost of living could go up. So the market's just going crazy right now. Right? That's why we have so much volatility today, because it doesn't know what's going to happen, which no one knows what's going to happen. But I know that Europe came in today and said we're going to go 0 for 0 tariffs with Trump. That you're starting to see countries cave to what Trump wants, and I think that's going to be very good for the S&P 500, for the Nasdaq, and even Bitcoin in the next couple years. I think that a lot of economic policy is going to change, and I think it's going to be very beneficial for the U.S. So if you're an investor, again, I'm excited for this because I've been waiting for this for a couple months, right? When we were like up here, I was like, I'd love to get into stocks, but I think we're going to have a correction soon for X, Y, and Z. If you look at this from when, I guess, bottom of 2022, I mean, this thing is up 80% in 2 years. To me, it was like, when are we going to get the correction? And I think this is that correction. This is what we've wanted, or at least what I've wanted. And now I'm happy that we've gotten it. I bought a bunch of stocks today. Well, not a bunch. I bought I bought SPY, I bought FU, and I bought QQQ. I believe we get even lower ETH than previous bear low. Could. That one would confuse me, though, because Ethereum's technically an inflationary asset. But overall, guys, plan's still playing out. I did want to do like strictly TA now. I've told you guys my thoughts, and I've told you why I want to buy. But I think if we go lower, 4,600, could go lower than that. If we do, I'm buying the whole way down. I mean, the lower we go, the happier I am personally. I know for a lot of people, you're upset, and I get why. But to me, this is a normal correction. We've had 1,000 of, no, I want to say 1,000. We've had hundreds of these over the last 120 years on the S&P. So know that this is normal, that there's a shakeup. Guys, we've had world wars. We've had the Great Depression. We've had crazy, some of the things that you can't even fathom now, and the stock market is ridiculously higher than at that point. The point is, this will recover. Let's look at the dollar. Dollar starting to bounce. Kind of in my most bullish scenario, but again, I think a lot of the movement, at least in really everything, this is part of the reason why I'm not trading right now, is just headlines in the news and global economic uncertainty. So for me, it's not that I don't want to trade. It's just when I know that someone could just come on the news and say something and prices are going to fluctuate in a whiplashy movement, I'm just not interested. I don't want to over risk. There's no point. Total looks awfully bearish, guys. Got the breakdown, got the retest heading lower, bouncing off a little bit of support right now, but a lot of that is because Bitcoin big breakdown, big retest. I've said it for weeks. I don't think that I think a lot of people are expecting this, right, to just continue higher. I don't think so. And call me crazy, but when the president of the United States starts and his administration starts getting bullish on crypto and we drop 32%, call me crazy. Do you think the dollar goes down over time against the EUR, or will trend change with Trump? I don't know. I think it comes down to, will Trump be successful in his tariff negotiation for me? And how does the U.S. economy respond? Let's look at the daily. A lot of volatility today. Hit my target at 74. Really nice. Still not really seeing a lot of signs of reversal yet. So kind of just letting this whole volatile, crazy range get tighter. Then we'll look for entries at the end. Maybe we get a double bottom or something at the end. I know people are like, well, isn't this a double bottom? No, I don't think so. Pretty big deviation here. I still think we're going to land somewhere in the 70s before we go higher. That's just me. Maybe not, but I'm not really interested. I still think we need to build volatility. And I know we've had a volatile day, but what I mean is have price compress something like this so that we can get a much larger defined move. I think there's just too much space. I mean, your gap is this big, right? We need this to shrink down so we can compress and move higher. Not going to look below the 4 hour today, but nice little bounce. Hit support, close to it. Nice little deviation of that low. I still think we're going to go lower. I don't, it's just me. It's about June for the debt ceiling and refinancing. That makes sense. Wouldn't Bitcoin go up if stocks go up? Why not Bitcoin? Because I think crypto's toast. I mean, maybe Bitcoin will go up, but I think the better performer is going to be the S&P, especially if this whole tariff thing gets solved. And I know, I think a lot of people are forgetting that Bitcoin is up 600% since its bottom. Plus, now it's starting to make, instead of it continuously making highs, right, big range, we're breaking through pretty dramatic levels. So, call me crazy, but I'd rather have my money in stocks at the moment. Plus, like, and maybe I am being a little bit biased, but I bought down here, I sold here, right? For me, this isn't enough correction for me to want to buy back, or at least buy spot back. Bitcoin held up better than stocks, though. Did it? Or has it? Because Bitcoin's down more than stocks overall. Bitcoin's down 27%. Stocks are down. Stocks are down 17. So it's all about perspective. I mean, what if Bitcoin just front running it and dumps after? Right? You can't look at this one scenario and go, oh, Bitcoin's doing better, or alts are bouncing today, so that means they're the better investment. I mean, look what Ethereum to Bitcoin's doing, and look at Ethereum overall. I mean, this is a massively bearish chart. I mean, none of these look strong at all. You go to alt to Bitcoin charts, they look awful. Like Fetch to Bitcoin, lower lows. Ethereum to Bitcoin's making lower lows. Link to Bitcoin's making lower lows. And none of these structures are bullish. Look, Link lost support. Ethereum lost support and retested it. Tau is still sitting in support, but, there's always an exception to the rule. Fetch has lost support. Solana's lost support. Solana to Bitcoin has lost support. I mean, the whole crypto space looks weak to me. I'm just not on the same page that I don't think crypto is going to follow stocks the way that people want it to. I think crypto had its run, and, maybe, I think best case scenario, we move sideways for a whole year, similar to what we did here. But I personally don't believe we're going to see 150K. Maybe we do. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong. I hope you guys make money, but I don't think so. Especially with inflation still ticking up. We're risk off. We have this tariff problem now. I just don't see how this is an environment where Bitcoin and altcoins thrive, which is, again, why things are dumping so hard. No alt season ever. I had high hopes from Ethereum. No choice to keep holding. I mean, no. And a lot of it's because people put their money in meme coins. People wanted to be scammed in memes and waste their time. And also, there's over 20 million coins. I don't think that new money is coming into the space, knowing how many scams there have been. It's just one of those things where, I don't know. It sucks because I had a lot of altcoins, and I sold a lot of them for break even or even a small loss after holding them for 3 years. And I had to make the decision that was, I don't know. I just didn't think it was going to happen. Let's see. Let's look at some other stuff. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, I mean, look, I know Bitcoin dominance is starting red this week, but still looks pretty strong. I mean, even if we get one little pullback, I mean, we almost look like this, right? Where you went up, had a little bit of pullback, kept that momentum up, the pullback up, a little pullback. I think dominance is going to keep going. None of these altcoin charts look strong at all, especially with people starting to pour their money or really take it out of crypto. I mean, guys, look what happened today. The S&P just gave everyone a huge buying opportunity. People that understand how the market works and look for opportunities like this. It wouldn't surprise me if you're a new investor, let's say you're a new investor, or you're an investor and you have, some money. Do you go buy the S&P 500 or do you go buy Ethereum? Knowing that, one, we're risk off. Inflation's ticking up. the altcoin space has been chopped and screwed in scams, right? I think a lot of people are leaning more into stocks and safer investments for now. And I hope you were wrong about alts. That being said, I appreciate your work. No problem. I hope I'm wrong too, man. I hope alts do well. I hope you guys make money. But my problem is I don't see any strength on any of these major altcoin charts. I mean, you look at Ethereum to Bitcoin. This has been in a massively strong downtrend that continues to lose important levels. And that to me is not only a major sign of weakness, but you look at Ethereum and look, I know we've briefly held support today, but who's to say we don't continue lower and hit 1,000 soon? I mean, you have a gigantic double top here. Breakdown, retest, continuing lower. Look, if Ethereum and Ethereum to Bitcoin start showing strength, I'll change my bias, start buying some alts. But until that happens, I'm not interested. I know Bitcoin's technically holding up decently right now, but I still see this as a breakdown, kind of a retest sideways, and will go lower. Just me being me. And I don't think it's that we won't ever get an alt season ever again. I just think of like the .com bubble, right? You have over 20 million altcoins, and when the internet came out, there were thousands of companies, and a lot of them, weren't worth a dime, but they were being overvalued. We saw the .com bubble burst. Now there's like 10 to 20 companies that are worth a shit, and the rest of them fizzled out. I think that's what needs to kind of happen to the alt space. Such an own goal with supporting Trump. If we go into recession, risk on assets will be sold. Okay, yes, but yes, obviously, but we were in a recession with Biden, and they just changed the definition, and risk assets got sold off. So I don't see your point. Also, putting things into perspective, the stock market was up 80% in 2 years. This correction to me is normal and warranted. Completely normal. 77% upside in the S&P over 2.5 years. You're going to see a 20% correction. That's completely normal. See what else we can find here. Anything? I want to see Nvidia. Yeah, bounce pretty hard. It's a man-made correction, though. It's not. What do you think of the AI related to alts like ICP? So I'm in a tough spot with that because I still think AI has a chance to do anything. So I'll say this: if we do get an alt run, the AI tokens will do the best, in my opinion. However, I'm not on par with actually getting that alt season. I don't think this is a man-made correction. Put things in perspective. The United States has been throwing money at other countries for the last 4 years. Trump's just saying, hey, enough is enough. We need to make up this trade deficit. That's all he's doing. You guys are reading headlines and not realizing what's actually going on, and him trying to get money back. Plus, I'm not trying to be that guy, but what the hell did Biden do for 2 years that caused this to go up 80%? Not only did they change the definition of recession, we then went up 80% off what? What did he do? If he did something magnificent and I didn't hear about it, let me know, but I don't know why. I mean, we had other than interest rates coming down slightly, inflation has been ticking up this entire time. I believe we've had a slowing economy since then. I don't understand what caused this to go up so much in 2 years. I mean, I will give you this. If you're someone with cash, this is excellent for you, right? because you can go ahead and buy and take advantage of that correction. It's like the same thing with COVID. If during COVID, if you had cash anywhere in here, I mean, you were golden. You could buy that correction. I'm not here to defend Biden, but it would be stability and confidence, which is now gone. I don't believe that. Not that I'm like trying to defend everything Trump does. Look, if what Trump's doing fails, then it is a risk, but I think it'll do what I think it'll be fine. I think it'll come out fine. I think kind of an overreaction. I don't think Biden was providing stability. I guess a little bit, but my chair just lowered. My problem is, I guess you're right in the stability. Like, we weren't making changes, but we need to see. One, we need to find a way to fix inflation. Two, we need to reduce interest rates further. And we are at the point where inflation is still kind of ticking up, and we weren't able to reduce interest rates. Is it time to buy the correction? I bought some today. I don't know if it's the bottom, but like, I'll give you this. If I had $100, let's say I have $100, right? I bought $20 today. Next week, or let's say tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow we go down to 4,600. Something crazy happens. We drop all the way down. I'll buy another 20%. Let's say we move sideways and then kind of go down and then kind of move sideways. I'll probably buy 1 to 2% per week. If we see a major correction, I'll buy 10 to 20% more. I'd really like to average down. So personally, I kind of hope Trump gets on and ruins the market more. Many people calling for bear market and recession fears QT slowing down and QE could begin at any moment. Here's the thing. The market is down 25%, or it was down 25%. People are always bearish. 22%. People are always bearish on red days and they're bullish on green days. It's the same exact thing happened during COVID. No shit. Like 2 days before we bottomed, right? I think we went down a couple more days after that. But 2 days before we bottomed, there's a news article. I have it in my safe upstairs. I'll have to bring. I posted pictures of it on Twitter if anyone ever wants to see it. 2 days before we bottomed, there was a gigantic news article from the Wall Street Journal saying NASDAQ's in bear market territory. We're going to start a multi-year recession. Everyone's panicking. Black swan event. We literally bottomed and started the best, well, really the biggest bull run in human history. So this idea that we dropped 25% and we're going to drop another 50% from here, guys, people are always the loudest at the bottom and the quietest at the top. Well, quietest on the bear end at the top. I don't think we're going to get a bear market. I don't. And even if we do, let's say we drop another 25% from here. Let's say the total correction is 40%. Say we go all the way down to 3,600 3,600. Or somewhere in around here, right? Let's say we do something crazy. This whole period in time is a massive buying opportunity, right? Having the ability to one, dollar cost average your either your 401k or personal assets, whatever it is. That is a massive opportunity for you. Two, I know that there's people like, oh, my retirement account. Couple things. One, during 2008, we were down for, what was it? A couple years before we saw the top. We topped in 2007. We broke all-time highs in 2013. So we put 5 or 6 years before we recovered it all and then continued upwards. Nothing ever goes up in a straight line forever. So you have this huge upward uptrend, sideways, and then huge uptrend, right? The question is, are we going to get 5 years of sideways and go higher? But if you can accumulate in this, that's excellent. Excellent for long term. And by the way, 2008 was what, 50% correction? This is kind of my point. If we corrected 25% already, or 58%, I mean, imagine we're about here. Okay, so we drop a little bit more. Okay, you buy more, right? You just bought this whole thing, your average is here, bam, you just made a ton of money. So easy. The way you know that is using the VIX. Trump stated that he will double the tariffs on China if they not lift their tariffs by tomorrow. Government is causing the bear market. It's a buying opportunity for people with cash or didn't already max their 401k for the year. If the layoffs start happening, people have even less money. Well, I mean, yes, I agree with you, but did you really think that this thing was going to go up forever? Like, one thing I want to say to everybody here is, did you really think we were just going to do this forever? Because I didn't. Whether it was Trump or Kamala Harris or whoever the hell was in office, we were not going to do that forever. This idea that the market just goes up in a straight line forever is total nonsense. So I know Trump is going to get a lot of the blame for everything, but I don't see it. He's only been in office for 100 days. He's threatening tariffs. He did the same thing in 16, and in 2016 where were we at in 2016? We were here at 2100. By the end of Trump's presidency, we were, okay, I'll give you this because COVID happened, right? But at the highs, he quite literally doubled everyone's money in 4 years. People's entire lives were ruined in 2008. I don't think this is going to be like a 2008. And I understand people's lives were ruined in 2008, and a lot of that was a mortgage crisis and a banking crisis. I don't know if that had a lot to... I guess it did have to do with some of the government stuff. But this is kind of why the terminology of don't invest money you can't afford to lose comes from, right? And, okay, I'll give you this. In the last year, right? We were here in February 2024. It's now April 2025, so about a year. This whole period of 1 year of your 401k has, I guess, been erased, quote unquote erased or down. Okay, but if you've been working for the last, let's say 5 years, you were here, right? Did all this, you're still up a lot, quite considerably. You're up 2 to 3x. Again, the idea that one bad year, it's all Trump's fault and it's going to be a bear market and everything's going to crash. And no, it's not. It's not going to happen. And if you're really that worried about it, then why are you investing your money in the first place? Why are you giving your money to funds that are going to invest it if you're afraid to lose it? Again, don't invest money you can't afford to lose. But back to the point of, is this correction over or will we go lower? I'm biased. I want us to go lower. I want to be able to buy lower, but it wouldn't surprise me if we bottomed here. I think a lot of these, you guys have to think of a couple things, right? The United States is, and I'm not saying this from an ego point, we're the center of the world. We do the most trade, we spend the most money, we buy the most products, we consume the most, right? All these other countries that do business with us want us involved and want to trade with us. So what everyone's doing right now is they're having a who's got the bigger dick contest, right? Everyone wants to win. And everyone wants everything in their favor, right? This is the worst of it that we've seen. I don't want to say I can guarantee, but all of these guys know how to run business and know how to conduct business. They're going to find a way to make it work. Can you check out gold and silver? I don't really mess with gold, but I know gold's kind of topping. I know gold's been on a huge parabolic uptrend. I wonder if it's topping. Who knows if it actually is. It's going to continue to run if tariffs continue to go out, but I don't really look at silver. I really only, if I was interested in anything, it would be gold, but I wouldn't buy gold right now. It's up 50% in the last year. It's too much for me. The time to buy was when it broke out, or when it was ranging. I'm glad I've kept this so you guys can still read it. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end it here. 1,400 of you, I appreciate you being here. If you missed the first part of the stream, I went over the VIX in the S&P 500. The reason why the stream is titled Buy, 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 I think it's a great opportunity to get some exposure into stocks. I've kind of said not really interested in crypto as much just because I think Bitcoin will see that correction at some point. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. But for me personally, I think the risk is higher than the reward for trading, at least Bitcoin. I'm not interested in alts as we've gone over that there's not a lot of strength. But if you're new, I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 5 p.m. Eastern. Last couple weeks I've been kind of busy with some stuff, so I haven't been able to, but looking forward to streaming now. But with all that said, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day.